Welcome back to another video, and today I'll be discussing the newest makeup announcements and releases. Welcome back, and today I'll be discussing the newest makeup announcements and releases that have been made during the last week or so. It's officially August, so happy August everyone. I know in a lot of places August still is like considered I think still officially a summer month, and a lot of places it's also like the official holiday month. I usually have my holidays during July, but I know in many places they actually just begin during August, so I know a lot of you are still very much on the summer mood. However, in this channel I did touch upon this, and I always like to remind this about yearly. In this video we're going to be discussing the first time of holiday 2026 makeup releases, and for all of your comfort who don't want to hear about anything yet about Christmas makeup launches, I will be having for this first video of this year discussing holiday stuff, I will have them in a separate segment, so I'll be discussing those first, and I'm gonna put them in one single timestamp so you can skip them if you're not interested about the holiday stuff. In the coming videos, however, I will be mixing up the holiday stuff with the other makeup launches, because I think from here onward we're gonna be now entering the launch season, that yes, we're gonna see some fall launches, but we are gonna be seeing more and more holiday launches, so having those separately is gonna be starting to be harder and harder, because it is at some point going to be most of the launches we're going to be talking about is makeup launch, Christmas makeup, which is crazy, but this is now been happening more earlier and earlier every year. And as I said, I think this on my last makeup news videos, or a video before that one, that I saw the first holiday Christmas sneak peeks during June already, which is that's crazy. But as I said, the first segment, that's gonna be a separate timestamp. I'm gonna be discussing the few holiday stuff that have already been revealed that I have gotten my notice. Then we're gonna be going through the normal releases, but on the following videos we're gonna be doing this. Then from here onward, normally, that you're probably gonna see some holiday stuff mixed in with normal releases. But that about this video, about this week's videos, or the second video I'm gonna be filming afterwards. This one, the sort of Yes Style Say Beauty review, so I have now had enough time to try out the stuff that I had in my C Beauty haul of things that I bought from Yes Style, so you will be seeing the review video on Sunday. But let's start talking about now the makeup announcements that have been made. Alright then, and what a way to kick out the 2026 Christmas launches than talking about advent calendars. So, I know not everyone is a fan of makeup advent calendars or beauty advent calendars. I'm a huge fan of those. I usually buy one each year, and I usually do a short series during December where I'll sort of unbox the calendar each day as we move towards the Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. But this one we are starting strong with the advent calendar, and this is the creme de la creme of the advent calendar. So we are talking about Harrods' advent calendar. I do believe that Harrods is gonna come out just like in previous years with different variations. So I think altogether they had last holiday, there was 3 or 4 different variations, because there was the beauty advent calendar, then I think they had a separate calendar for fragrances, and then one, I think it was targeted towards men's products. But I'm gonna be talking about the mixed advent calendar. So I did try to ensure, I think this is this year's calendar content. I was trying to compare the content of this one and the list that was available on Beauty Detective's blog website. She is one of those bloggers who compiles especially these advent calendars and the full spoilers. So if you want to have more up-to-date information when she gets the information, give her account a follow on Instagram and then read her blog, because the blog has usually the full product details. I'm gonna be evaluating this as always in these videos, based on the what I see on the image, because usually what you see on the image, at least for me, it is a pretty good comprehension about the fact that okay, is it a calendar that I would probably like. Anyway, about the contents of the calendar, as I said, based on this image, there is already as I said, go to the blog of this creator. She has the full product list. I think my issue with especially Harrods' beauty calendar has always been that yes, it's very pricey, and they do promise you a great value if you do calculate then the price of the products included altogether. But it is usually for a person like me, I usually I don't mind a little bit of skincare. For example, last year I had the Gloss Gods advent calendar, and that little bit had also skincare and tools in it. I don't mind it because it was majority still a makeup calendar. With Harrods, for example, there was also a lot of skincare, but also hair care products in this one. I do think that if you are very much into your like luxury makeup items and you do want to spoil yourself for Christmas and you especially are maybe the typical Harrods customer who like shops the makeup brands and beauty brands on Harrods, then I think this calendar could actually be something nice and maybe and probably worth its money to you. And this could be a very good calendar to try out some of these very high-end expensive brands before committing to the products, because I have seen people unbox this advent calendar and then telling what are they, especially if you would buy full prices of some of these products from the department store. Some of them are like very pricey. In UK pound prices we are talking about like several hundreds of pounds, for example, for a face cream or a serum, which is, yeah, I would like, as maybe a consumer especially, I would maybe want to try out something for a bit like less before like committing into like a several hundred UK pound worth of skincare products. The makeup products that are kind of like the icon visible, there is a Huda Beauty lip gloss included in this one. I think there is a Charlotte Tilbury and Sisley lipsticks. The Sisley lipsticks especially are very pricey. We have a Sisley retailers in our country. I think there might be an Hourglass blush included, and I think there is a, I did go and read the website's description, I think the eyeshadow stick is from NARS, so there are like a couple of makeup products in this one, but for me, this is not the advent calendar, but for a luxury lover who really likes, aside from makeup, especially these like hair care and skincare brands, this could always be a good value. So NARS's holiday collection, and unfortunately from this one I have to say that this is kind of looks like that they wanted to copy the success of last year's holiday collection, because I do believe that was made in collaboration with the package design was with like a famous artist, I don't remember the artist's name. But this kind of looks that they try to copy the vibe of last year's holiday collection, but then the execution maybe is not as great as was the previous holidays. So we are getting at least the two initial ones that are like have been shown is that there seems to be one of the face powders, and then you have the face palettes that have eyeshadows and then two blushes, and there are like two variations. I assume one of them is meant for deeper skin tones and one of them for lighter skin tones. Though I will have to say again, looking at these shades, I could probably get away wearing both of the face palettes, so yeah. This is, as I said, I think like first of all, I'm not usually a fan when you put eyeshadows into these like face palette kind of products. So for me that already is like a no, and I just think the last year's palettes were like much better than these ones. So for me at least so far, based on what I've seen, like these two, there's probably gonna be some lip products also included, because NARS usually does lip products also into a holiday. But so far, compared to last year, not maybe as impressed with NARS's this year holiday collection. Then from Essence, so we have the first of Essence's advent calendars. So Essence and Catrice, they have kind of had, sometimes they have had like the advent calendar that has advent calendar specific products, then they have had the DIY calendars that you can like, basically you put the products yourself into the given bags, and they are kind of existing products in their range. This one, which is apparently called Baked with Love, so this is the one from Essence that has the advent calendar unique items, and I always critique Essence's calendars for the fact that they are a bit like merch heavy, or you get a lot of these like hair clips and stickers and not like makeup-y products, but at least looking at this now, this actually seems to have a decent amount of makeup. Yeah, we have some like, there are quite a few lip products, though a lot of them are looking like lip balms. There's actually like two eyeshadow duos, which is usually not something we see, and there is even like a highlighter, and then there are like nail polishes, which are not something that I do. I think if you have seen my nails in some videos, they are in pretty horrible conditions. I don't like to do my nails that much, but yeah, I'd say based on like looking at this one, this is better than some of the previous Essence's advent calendars from previous year. It's still not probably gonna be the advent calendar for me, but for drugstore or especially for a preteen, I could maybe actually recommend this one. So another one, Makeup Revolution's advent calendar. This is also something that I usually am quite, how should I say, I always am like a bit curious to see what Makeup Revolution does with their advent calendars, because especially if you are very into a makeup heavy advent calendar, Revolution is from a drugstore usually different that I like to recommend. I do have to say, first of all, improvement. They have brought back a big eyeshadow palette. There was 1 year, I think, where they didn't have an eyeshadow palette at all in the calendar. Then on last year they had the 4-pan eyeshadow palette, which was kind of improvement. But I think a lot of people were asking them to bring back the like big eyeshadow palette, so they are pretty much delivering. This unfortunately is not in the sort of like better eyeshadow palette line that they have now currently. Those are the palettes that go around, depending on the retailer, around 9 to 12 euros, but this is more on the Reloaded line, which is the more like cheap eyeshadow palettes. Some of the Reloaded line eyeshadow palettes are pretty decent, but a lot of them are not so... Yeah, this might not be the best of eyeshadow quality, but there is like a full-on palette in this one, so I know for a lot of people, especially if they are expecting a full face of makeup from a calendar, this could be a good buy. Otherwise, there seems to be highlighters, there are some powders, and there seems to be quite a lot of like other... I think there is like mascara included in this one. I think that might be an eyeshadow base. I hope it's an eyeshadow base and not a concealer in the image, because if you have only one concealer shade in an advent calendar, for me, like base products are always a big no-go, except for the translucent powders, which are usually like, if it's truly a translucent powder, then it can work for several skin tones, but otherwise like having base products in your advent calendar, unless you're giving a shade variation choices, it's a big no. Are we actually having like two powders? Because there's also seems to be like their loose powder. Huh, that's interesting. Yeah, it seems, at least based on the image, like if also the bigger pan thing is a pressed, so there seems to be a pressed powder and then there seems to be a loose powder, so that's interesting of putting two powder products from one calendar. Yeah, I'd say like for a Revolutions Advent calendar, this is looking like okay. Last year, I do believe a lot of creators who did unbox the Revolution Advent calendar, they did critique the fact that there were quite a lot of like mini to midi-sized products in the calendar. So I can't say based on the image yet that how many of these are full-size, because they can kind of do a bit of tricks with the image that make some products look bigger than they actually are. So we shall be seeing once people start to actually be able to like unbox these and order these one, that is it actually like what is the ratio of full-size products versus like tester and medium midi sizes. Okay, then the luxury, I think this might be the luxury brand this year that in terms of packaging probably went through like my brains and picked out that okay, she would very much like something pink, she would probably like something pink, and we would maybe trick her to buy our products, even if usually this is a brand that I don't buy from personally. So Lancome's holiday collection, yeah, they went full on pink with the packaging. This looks very appealing from my standpoint. Like obviously I'm not the Lancome consumer. It's usually the products go for me to the category that yeah, some of them look quite nice, but considering the price point they just don't quite make it. But dang, I like the packaging. The interesting thing that this has, there seems to be some potted like jelly looking eyeshadows in this one, so that's a new product category from them. Then we have a very glossy looking lip idol or sparkly looking lip idol lip gloss in this one. Also the casings of the lipstick, like as I said, the pink packaging is very killing it. And then also the 6-pan eyeshadow palette, like yeah, as an eyeshadow palette color story not much, but again the packaging like this is wow. Then the second thing, Lancome is going to be bringing also an advent calendar in this similar style. Based on the packaging, I would say that this goes to pretty much for an advent calendar, that if it would be just based on packaging, this could be actually something I would be into, but looking at the insides, maybe not so much. So we, because Lancome does, aside from makeup, they are known for their skincare and perfumes. So usually their advent calendar has been more of a mix of a beauty advent calendar where you get some makeup, but then you also get the perfumes and then you get the like skincare products. There is a lipstick you do get. I am kind of knocking them down for the fact that there's a mini-sized mascara in this one, because this is probably going to be again one of the more expensive advent calendars, and if it's a pricey luxury or high-end brand level advent calendar, I don't like seeing minis, and based on seeing also some of the skincare products, this looks like there's going to be quite a lot of minis, and also with the perfumes we get quite many like sample sizes. So yeah, in terms of contents, again, this is not impressing. This has been a bit of a repeating theme with the Lancome advent calendars that I have covered during the last few years on my channel, that usually they do quite well with the packaging, but then the contents are kind of like that we could maybe improve it, especially considering the price point of this one. Then let's next go to Chanel. So with this release, I'm bit questioning, this could be a holiday release or this could be a fall release, and in somewhere I even saw that this could be a Chanel's birthday release, so I'm a bit confused, but I don't think I'm the only one. So within this collection, at least based on a image that I did manage to get, there is one of these 9 pans, and last holiday they actually brought 3 of these 9 pans, which I think was a first from Chanel, and these were like quite pricey obviously because Chanel generally is quite pricey. Then there are apparently 2 new quads, so we are actually getting like altogether 3 eyeshadow products. That's a lot of eyeshadow. So one of them is this very traditional Chanel eyeshadow where you can see like there are like, it's obviously a brown palette, and then the other one is actually like there's a bit of red to it, but it's otherwise pretty peachy. And then there is a very glowy looking peachy blush also included. As I said, I did include this into this category because I'm a bit unsure, there's a bit of mixed information that what is this collection about and when it's gonna be launching, but at least the big palette was something that they brought out during the last holiday, so that's kind of why I thought that I'll put this into the holiday category, but I could be stand corrected later on once more information. I have seen a lot of hype, especially people about like a lot of sites posting about the 9 pan eyeshadow palette. Like, I think it's nice, and certainly I think if you are a fan of Chanel's like eyeshadow quality and you're looking the best bang for your buck, this could be a good buy. But I'm for example a person that yes, I have one eyeshadow quint which is from Chanel's holiday collection a few years ago, and while I do actually like the quint and I do like to put that in my favorites video for especially like cool tone smoky eye looks, it's still not an eyeshadow formula that I, for example, think that I need huge amounts of, especially considering that they are usually like very pricey. We talk about like anything between like almost like 90 to 80 all the way to 100 euros if you're talking about these 9 pans. But regarding this collection, it's a bit out there. Is this holiday or is it something that's gonna already land on fall depending on your retailer? Then this is the last of the holiday releases, and after this one we're gonna be talking about the normal makeup launches. So John Louise's advent calendar is also been revealed. I think this was one of the ones that I rated last year for the best bang for your buck advent calendar. This again is a Morphe mixed advent calendar. And I think this year again they are saying that it's going to be priced 250 UK pounds, so yes, it's going to be one of the more expensive ones, but they are promising over 1,000 UK pound value, so that is quite of a high price point. With this one I do have to say that you do seem to get a lot of products. I assume with this one it is that you are getting a lot of double and triple doors. I think I saw a couple of channels unboxing this one during last year, and I think in terms of like when I thought about the amount of product versus the price you pay for it, this was one of the better ones. I would still say that this is not necessarily, first of all, I think John Lewis is one of those UK brands that unfortunately due to Brexit they no longer ship to mainland Europe, so especially this advent calendar is probably not something that I could get. But again, if you look at the contents on this image, you can see that yes, there is quite a few like makeup things, but there's also like a lot of like skincare and hair care included in this one. So for me, this is a like skip purely first because of the availability, but also the contents are not for me. But I think also this year, let's see, because I am probably gonna do again this sort of advent calendar compilation video once we get to the somewhere around November to sort of list my favorite advent calendar releases, and this could probably still be in that one also this year, because so far in terms of like how much product you're getting versus the price you're paying, I think this is looking quite promising. Then from P. Louise we have 2 launches. So first one, they have now launched a full-on cheetah collection. I'm just gonna go through the makeup section because there wasn't actually that much makeup in this launch. With P. Louise launches these days, it seems to be a theme that we're getting quite a lot of skincare and body care these days. The only like makeup-esque items, I think there was like bronzing drops, then there was the mascara that if you got the cheetah team budget box that they had, then you have gotten this mascara, and I think there was like the also the eyeshadow palette included in this one, but the eyeshadow palette was a very basic like all matte neutral palette. So in terms of like makeup for a makeup lover, like yeah sure it's a very on-nose cheetah collection, but for a makeup lover this wasn't that exciting. However, for makeup lover, what I would say was exciting was the budget box that was announced for August. So as always with these budget boxes, it's an August budget box, but you're not gonna get it until the beginning of September because of the funny shipping thing they do with these ones. Now, if you have been dying to try some P. Louise makeup and you want to do it at a bit more reasonable price, this is actually a budget box I would get. You get a pretty nice looking eyeshadow palette. You actually get like, yeah, it's basically a warm tone peach palette that has a bit of pops of like cool tone shades in it. But there's also blushes in the palette. You get a full-on brush set with this one. I have some actually most of my brushes these days are P. Louise brushes because I bought a lot of them on sale. The brushes are pretty good, and then there is some, I think, lip skincare items in this one, and then there is, there's another one of the peel-off tints. Well, with that one, I'm not such a big fan of the peel-off tint on. I tried those because they had those in their like Easter boxes that they did, and the peel-off lip product wasn't a fan of. But otherwise, as I said, for a makeup lover, if you're dying to try some peel-less makeup, this actually would be the budget box to get it. But maybe wait a bit later until month before ordering, because even if you would order it now, you're not gonna get it until the beginning of September, because that's just how they do their shipping. Then we have a new concealer from Benefit, so they are doing the POREfessional concealer, so this is in the same line as they have the foundation that they launched during last year. This is actually already available in our retailers. I was kind of actually like blinking my eyes because I saw our retailer list this on their website, and I was thinking, wait a second, I have not seen anyone like reporting that the Benefit is coming out with a new concealer, but yeah, I think they did announce it quite shortly once I did spot this on one of our retailers. So I think the foundation of this line, it is pretty heavy coverage foundation, so I assume also the concealer, yeah, it blurs pores instantly, smooths the skin and gives instant coverage, so I think this is meant to be one of those more like full coverage concealers. I mean, if you did like the foundation, maybe give this a try. I do think the foundation, it didn't get that good of a reviews, at least on the foundation channels that I watched. I didn't buy the foundation because based on the description I could immediately see that it's not gonna suit my skin type. But if you did like the foundation, there's no concealer. Chantecaille is bringing out the new collection, so this is the Lion collection, as always very stunning. The green packaging is certainly something different. We don't see this kind of bright colors usually from Chantecaille. It's all very pretty, but I definitely don't need this one. It's a very highlighter heavy. We have, I think, are those eyeshadows or... Okay, so they are actually eyeshadows, but I do think they are very basic. And then a bit about the blush. I'm a bit unsure, is the line embossing on the blush is it an overspray or is it actually pressed to the whole brand? I would be pretty disappointed as a Chantecaille consumer if it's an overspray, but I would not put it past a luxury brand for putting an overspray on it. I think especially if you are interested in the Lion blush, please watch some reviews and see that if the Lion thing is an overspray or is it actually like pressed to the whole pan, because I think a lot of people would be disappointed if it ends up being an overspray. Then a collection that I have showed some parts in, but this is apparently Dior's fall collection. I actually, because I'm on Dior's mailing list, I actually did get the link there. They did like a pre-sale for this one because I think they were suspecting that this is going to be pretty popular. So I think the rosy eyeshadow palette is something that I have shown before, but actually like this is a whole collection. So there's the eyeshadow palette, there's two blushes, there's some lip shades, and then you also have a green variation. I have seen quite a lot of like already hype around the green palette. I suspect the green palette is going to be a popular one from this collection because it is something different from the luxury market. I think when I discussed the rosy tone palette previously, I already said that it's a very like, I can appreciate it as a color store, but I also don't need to pay your price for this one. But I can see why this has gotten a lot of like hype around the luxury channels that I follow, because I do think for a luxury collection, this is actually like, I like the design of this one quite a lot. Laura Mercier is coming out with some face palettes, so this is going to be Bonne Glow Cream palettes. I think Laura Mercier has a bit of an issue that these look very average considering the price that you're paying. You have to pay for these, so I do think these are very meh. Like, maybe we could have done something exciting. The packaging looks to be very, like, it doesn't look that, like, expensive when you look at it. It could be that in store these look much better, but sure, if you are into your Laura Mercier cream products, these could be a nice way because you do get a bronzer shade. I think there's a blush shade and then there is a highlighter shade included in this one, but for me this is a skip because I think for what these are, I don't probably want to pay the Laura Mercier prices. Beauty Bay is coming out with Does It All Cheek Balm blushing. So these are liquid cream blushes, and then there are also some highlighter shades. Now I saw already one promo on Beauty Bay's Instagram story, like Instagram post about this one. These are quite glowy, so if you don't like your super glowy cream blush products or blush products in general, this might not be for you. I would certainly I think for me, like for highlighting purposes, one of these shades could be interesting to try out, but for blushes, I think these might be a bit too glowy for my taste. If you have been looking for some drugstore alternatives for these kind of glowy cream blush products, then the Beauty Bay ones could be something to look into, and we are now seeing more releases from them, which is a good sign because they had some financial issues during, I think this was beginning of this year, and we were kind of questioning what is going to happen, but at least they're bringing new products out, so it kind of shows things are probably going a bit better now. Patrick Tha is bringing out a highlighting and contouring. I think these are like pens or yeah. We have seen now quite a like, not like all brands, but we have seen these like more precise contouring products from a few brands now during the last couple of months. So I'm kind of curious to see that is this going to be a product category we're going to be seeing more from as the fall releases keep rolling, because usually with the makeup market it goes that we usually there's like some kind of like one single product that we like all the brands then look into and are like that, okay, we also want to launch our variation. The glossy opaque lip products have been now something for quite some time, so I don't know, is this going to be the next one that we're going to basically see every brand understand launch their sort of like precise contouring sticks or pens or however you're gonna be calling these ones. If you're looking for a good affordable alternative, Maior actually recently announced that they also are gonna bring their variation. I don't think they had highlighter shades, I think they only had like shades for contouring, but if you're looking for a drugstore alternative, Maior has something for the contouring side. Then, for those of you who are looking for your very expensive luxury foundation, so Westman Atelier is releasing a liquid foundation. I do have to say the packaging is at least looking probably the price point of these ones. So it's a weightless medium coverage natural hydrating finish, so this is something probably that I would enjoy considering my face, my skin type these days, but I do have to say Westman Atelier is a brand that it's not that accessible for me. There are a few online retailers I could buy it from, but also this is a very expensive brand in general. But if you are a lover of your high-end foundations, this could be a good foundation to look into. Kryptein Cosmetics, they are launching their summer palette, so this is the Tropical Mirage palette. I'd say this is a pretty like typical, what I would say, rainbow-esque palette. Maybe not the most interesting color story I have seen from the brand, but I do have to say, as a summer palette launch, I can kind of get the theme of it. It's a very, what I would say, beachy theme with the, you can kind of get, there's like a brighter side, and then you have the side with the more like sea, like blue sea colored pants, but not my favorite Kryptein color story, because this sort of like very typical rainbow palette is not something that I feel that we do get this, we have gotten this from quite many indie brands, but if you are into Kryptein Cosmetics and want to try this particular palette out, I believe this is all going to be available on August 8th on their own website, and then this has been usually a brand that has launched on Monolith Shop site here in Europe, so maybe keep an eye on their August launch, because their August launch is going to happen right like halfway through August, so wait and see if this is going to be something that's going to be available on that particular launch. Then some highlighters from Gucci. So this goes to the category of things that I would very much like to have this to look at my vanity, but not something I'm gonna be like buying also. So, like, okay, Gucci these days you can actually also get it like on, like even from Notino, so actually Gucci isn't that hard for me to get anymore, but yeah, I certainly have been liking buying highlighters during this year more, but I'm not gonna be paying Gucci prices. But as I said, if I like would have money to spend for things to just look at my vanity, this would be very, I have no doubt that the packaging is probably gonna be a bit heavier and these look very pretty, but I'm just not gonna be like, I would not dare to probably use these even if I would own one of them. Then from Glamlite, so Pepsi, we're having a Pepsi collection from Glamlite, which is very strange because they did a collaboration with Coca-Cola, so I'm kind of thinking that did no one at Pepsi who like handles the sort of like contract related to these IPs, and that what brands can like use their IP for different like merch, like did no one check that this brand has already done an IP collaboration with their direct competitor? This feels a bit strange considering that we have also seen a Coca-Cola collection from them. So the eyeshadow palette is very blue themed, which, yeah, okay, if you're gonna do a collaboration with Pepsi, those are probably the options you're gonna do. I was kind of actually curious to see how they're gonna do this, because in terms of like drink colors, Coca-Cola and Pepsi, like obviously they are they are like similar, like they are basically like the same kind of drink. So the color with that regards, you can't do too much different. So they kind of had to rely on the Pepsi's like brand colors. There is also some lip products in this one, and I think there might be some body care products also included in this one. So there is what is this one called? So there is, I think there's a shower gel included in this one. I don't know how I feel about the idea of smelling like Pepsi after shower. That feels a bit strange. Yeah, comment down below maybe that would you be interested in Pepsi themed body care products. For me, like, while I do like my Coca-Cola tasting drinks, I am not maybe a fan of like smelling them, let's just say that. So Tom Ford's fall collection, I don't have the name for this one. Okay, so this is part of the Vanilla Sex collection, so I think they had something, they already had something in this line already beforehand, but I think the eyeshadow quad is something that I at least haven't seen before. The perfume probably isn't new. There's also some lip colors. I do like the white, like vanilla white packaging, even though it's a very like basic packaging, but Tom Ford can do very nice packaging. But yeah, the eyeshadow, it's a nice neutral eyeshadow palette, but for Tom Ford prices, certainly not something I'm gonna spend my money on. But as a collection, I think this is one of the better Tom Ford collections in terms of design. Nothing exciting in terms of what the products are inside, but it is very nice. Then we're gonna end this with a bang, so something that I did actually buy. This is something that I did already refer into my last video of sneak peeks, but this wasn't revealed yet when I featured this the first time. It was revealed when I was editing, so that is the reason we're talking about this now. So, Cosmic Beauty did launch their Santa Road palette. As I said, I have already bought this one. I hope it's gonna be making its way to me. I don't know how long it's gonna take when it ships from UK, but we shall see. But yeah, this is very beautiful. It's a very summery-esque palette, but you do also have a blue-purple side to this one. Though I did, when I kinda after ordering this, I realized that, okay, why am I liking this so much? So you guys remember, if you watched my eyeshadow palette ranking video that I did for the like halfway point of this year, that I did rank the Nomad Provence palette as my favorite palette so far during this year, and I kind of think that this might be the amped variation of that particular palette. I'm gonna quickly put also if you have not seen the Nomad Provence palette, I'm gonna put the image of it so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. And then I kind of went into a tangent after realizing that, okay, if this is the amped variation of the Nomad palette, then I went back thinking that I also wanted to get the Odense Eye Summer palette, and then I realized that, okay, great, but actually then when you start looking at the Odense Eye, the other one of the summer palette that was the more neutral leaning, not the blue-green one, the Odense Eye Summer palette is kind of then more of a muted down variation of the Nomad palette that I ranked as my favorite palette from the palettes that I've tried so far this year. So I think from this point we're gonna be scraping the fact that I'm not gonna be getting the Odense Eye palette, because then it's like gonna be too much peach and purples in one single season into my collection. So I'm just gonna be like, obviously I'm still happy that I ordered this, because I do think from Cosmic Brushes releases I was like so impressed when I saw the full color story, and I was pretty excited about this one. So it's gonna be an interesting comparison when we get to the end of the year ranking, that is this gonna be something that's gonna surpass the Nomad palette, because, or are we gonna rank this lower for some reason or another? Because I do have to say now that I'm like, when I actually like looked at this one and the palette that I have, I was thinking that, yeah, okay, the Cosmic Brushes palette is kind of a Nomad palette, but they put some steroids in it and made it even like more, like, I think there's a bit more like special shades in this one. So yeah, I'm very excited to get this one into my to try pile, and then hopefully at some point you're gonna be seeing this on my, like, obviously you're gonna see this on my review list, but we will have to wait, because so far this hasn't even shipped yet, and it's gonna take some while to get this from the UK. But yeah, that was the last launch we actually had for this week. So this is gonna be a bit of a longer video, because we had the sort of bulk of Christmas product in the beginning. Hopefully next week we're gonna be having a bit more like manageable makeup news video again, because I do know that based on just like watching my YouTube statistics, the longer these videos are, the less people watch them, because I know these days we are all very busy. Also, our attention span is not what it used to be, but that is a completely another discussion. But yeah, we will try to get to the more manageable video lengths on the next week's makeup news video. Comment down below what were your sort of favorite makeup releases from last week. If you like this video, push the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell button if you want to get notifications from future content. You can also find me with the same nickname, Makeup Hedgehog, on Instagram. I hope I can see you in the video. Bye bye!